Welcome to the live stream. I am Keith. This is Life Journey Productions. Thank you so much for joining me. I see a couple people in the chat and more I'm sure will show up. It's been a crazy afternoon, technical difficulties. Welcome to the live streaming world. I have literally bypassed switches to get this monitor live, that monitor live. Let me know if the lips are in sync, so we'll make some of those adjustments if we need to. Looks like I have no frame delay on my main microphone. Let me dial just a little bit and let me know if this is now better. But thank you so much for joining me. I see some people in the chat. So let's go ahead and pop up some people here live, and I will try to keep track of you guys letting me know if it sounds good or not. Got some glare on my screen here. So let's back up here. And I think first off, we had Camille here from the Netherlands. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining me live. And let's see, we also had Joe from Tech for Fun is in here live. David is here from Down Under. And lip sync was off. Now it's fixed. Yeah, I think I forgot to save the settings in the control software, but it's good to see that the lip sync is good. We also have DJ Ware in the house. Nice. Thanks for joining me, DJ. It's great to have you as always. And hopefully some more people will dive in tonight. We are going to respond to a request that you guys had last week, and that was I believe, if I remember correctly, that was from Tony from Quick Tech Solutions. I don't see Tony on here yet, but he said it would be great if I did a behind-the-scenes tour of the garage. So I'm not going to try to do that live. It's just a day and a half of prep. So I spent half a day today getting the garage ready, semi-viewable, cars out. My wife's busiest day is Tuesday, and so she was going to leave for a couple hours, so it was perfect timing for me to be able to do some work in there. Then we're going to talk about NAB is this week, 2023. I could have done a video on my predictions, but we're going to talk about some of my predictions tonight. We're also going to be interested in your predictions, so be thinking about that. I'd like to see your predictions in the chat. If you have any questions about my predictions, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. We are going to open tonight with the main thing on the schedule, and that is to look at the behind the scenes of my Studio B plans. I'm going to talk just a little bit about that, but let's finish greeting anybody popping in the chat. My phone seems to stay ahead of the chat, so I'm going to look at my iPhone chat here, and it looks like I've said hi to everyone, and I do see a couple questions here. We will address those here in a minute. Oh, we've got David here. Thanks for joining me, David. I love your piano channel. I think if I have my brain on right, I think you do live worship on piano, on keyboard, on your channel. I might be completely wrong. If I am, I apologize. But make sure you reach out to some of these guys on live with tonight. So we got Dork Productions here tonight. Again, David Hunter is from Lancaster. Let's see. I could probably go another frame. Okay, so let's dial in another frame of delay. Here. Let's go ahead and change camera angles here. So I'm always trying to help people understand what it means to run a live stream. So let's do me and my laptop in SuperSource. Let's minimize this and bring the control software over on the screen. So right here on channel 1 and 2, that's the mic input 1, mic input 2 in the back of your ATEM Mini or your ATEM Mini Extreme. You have two inputs. There are 3.5 millimeter stereo inputs, and you can create a lip sync delay right here. So this little box right here, if I click on it, it's over here. I already had it opened up. This little box opens up right here, and I'll just drag it over here, and I can do lip sync delay right here. I have it set for 4 frames of delay. So let me know if that's adequate. And I can also do it on channel 2. I do not have channel 2 hooked up tonight. That's for my lav microphone, and I do have this DJ mic kit. So that's what I normally use if I anticipate getting up and walking around the studio, which I don't have any plans to get up and walk around the studio tonight, but I can do some lip sync delay for that. Then you can just close these boxes and then ask your live audience if your lips are in sync. And that's kind of how that works. So that's Super Source, which is a feature available in the extremes and up. The Super Source is not available in the ATEM Mini Pro line, but the Extreme and Extreme ISO does have it. The new HD8s have it as well. And you have Super Source in the new console models, but you do not have Super Source available in the ATEM Mini Pro, and ATEM Mini Pro ISO. And what Super Source is the ability to put multiple boxes on the screen. And so here's a 3-box. If it comes up here, let me see. This 4-box works. So here's a 4-box that I have with a moving graphic behind it. Even though I don't have box 3 and 4 live over there, I do have 2 cameras live, and then I have my chat on the screen, and I could switch that chat to my Skycam here. So now my Skycam is up there. So you can do 3 to 4 boxes on the air at one time. And so that's a sample of Super Source, and you can assign any input to Super Source, and that's kind of how it works. And that's available if you upgrade to an ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, the new HD8, or any of the other updated console versions, with the exception of the new 8-channel HD rack mount. I don't think it has Super Source. Only the 2ME and the 4ME new rack mounted models have Super Source. So let me put chat back here on the air, off the air. Let's change back to chat. Sorry about that. Put chat back on the air. So again, let's go back here, because there's a couple questions here. Go forward. Camille says, any experience in making a green screen background in Unreal Engine? No, I have watched a lot of videos on that. At some point, I would love to experiment with that. There's some really cool things you can do with the Unreal Engine. Obviously, that's the stuff that I think that we see happening in Disney now with The Mandalorian and Obi-Wan. All of those movies, they're using the Unreal Engine, and they're using 8K screens, and pretty incredible what you can do. Now, when I get into Studio B and I get it all set up, that I definitely would like to experiment with making some backgrounds in the Unreal Engine, and then seeing if I could display those behind me. That would be a lot of fun. I will say this, that's quite a bit advanced over my head, but I like to learn and grow. So the chances are I will eventually dive in to that. Let me kind of rearrange my studio back here the way it needs to be for me to organize the live stream. So, okay, so let's just see here. We already talked about that. Let me know again, guys, if the lips are better off now. And David does say that, yeah, he does live worship on his channel. So if you're into worship type music, really kind of relaxed, peaceful stuff, David, I discovered his channel a number of months back, and I think we kind of subscribe to each other, and occasionally I get a chance to tune in to David's stuff. Man, lots of that kind of material. So if you just need something playing in the background that's going to bring some peace into your world, check out his channel. It's good to have Jay here. I popped on the Jay's channel last night just to give you a little bit better excuse, Jay. So go check out his channel. He does a live stream on Monday nights, the night before mine, and I like to join his channel. He was waxing eloquent last night, and I wanted to pop in to say hi, but I was on my way to my son's house. I have a son that does security around the world. He gets home about every 10 days, And usually we find one day that we can actually get together. So all of the boys, with the exception of Bryson, my youngest, including my son-in-law and my grandson, Dominic, all went to watch the third Creed movie last night. So I was on my way and jumped into Jay's chat just to say hi, and then that I got to go. So I apologize for that. Yeah, the 3.5 mic jacks in the ATEM Mini Pro and Extremes, they're not great. Those preamps are not great. I'm using them right now. There is a way to bypass it. I know how to do it. You can feed regular quality audio into a converter, and I do have a 6G converter. What it does is take HDMI and convert it to SDI. It also has 2/4 inch inputs for embedding audio. And the reason you'd use that, let's say you had a camera in a live event, but you wanted to bring the audio in from your board and you wanted to sync it with the video, well, then what you do is that you add that audio in at the source. So you come out of the camera, HDMI, into a converter, a very short cable, and then you would embed the audio right at the beginning of the video so that the lips and the audio does not get off. Well, right now I'm talking into a camera, but there's no microphone on the camera. This microphone is plugged into my Rodecaster Pro. Then that is fed into those 3.5 jacks, and they are not the greatest audio. In fact, Tom Buck doesn't even use a Rodecaster Pro to do his live streams for that very reason. He goes into his computer and he streams live from his computer and does not use an ATEM Mini or a YOLO box in his studio. So hopefully Blackmagic Design is going to update their converters. That is one of the huge advantages of the new Blackmagic Design Television Studio HD8 and HD8 ISO, is that they have some really good MADI inputs and some really good audio inputs in there. And I believe what I've been hearing is that the preamps are much better, though I haven't done any testing myself, and I haven't really watched any videos to do any testing as well. Okay, David says the audio looks fine to him as well. He says SuperSource is great. There you go. Well, thank you, David, for what you're doing. That's a lot of work, and I really do enjoy your music on your channel. Line level is okay on the 3.5 jacks. It's when on mic level. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that, Joe, not to disagree with you, but I've had some line level issues and mic level issues when I was testing here in the studio. Obviously, using headphones in my Rodecaster Pro, listening to the audio in it, and then taking the headphones, which I have these headphones right here plugged into my Extreme headphone out. If you own an ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Pro ISO, they don't have headphone jack input or output, but the new Extremes do. So I can listen to the audio, and I'm not really impressed with the preamps inside the ATEM Minis line at all, but they're adequate for live streaming. Unless you are an audio guy like me, then it will bug you. Joe agrees that those preamps are crap. Bypass the mic for a chapel project. Yeah, you should. Yeah, the UA Apollo is amazing. When you get into those studio type grade preamps, digital conversion, D to A conversion. So obviously, if you're coming from a microphone like this, you're going to go from analog to digital into the computer, mixing it with computer effects. And then when you want to come back out to speakers in your studio, you're now going digital back to analog. And so you have to have good converters in those devices. And obviously, until you get into a better device, you don't have great preamps. That's why they updated the preamps in the Rodecaster Pro version 2. They're way better preamps. Supposedly, they have better preamps in the newer Blackmagic Design HD8 and HD8 ISO. They have better preamps starting in some of their newer cameras, but time will tell. But you can embed audio. You just have to get a converter that has 1/4 inch embedding audio. You can also unembed audio. That means that if you had a VCR playing or a DVD playing or a Blu-ray playing, and you had an HDMI coming out with audio inside that HDMI signal, if you run it through one of these converters, they also make one that lets you take the audio out. So you could take the audio out into house speakers or into your interface or into your mixing console, and then play that audio through house speakers, and then only play video on the monitor, because if you're going to a monitor, you're stuck to the speakers on the monitor. So a lot of people use audio de-embedding to get audio into a live mixing console so that they can play that. For instance, if a band came and had a music video and they want you to play their music videos before the concert starts, then you would obviously take their video and play it on the big screen, but you would want to bring the audio into a device to play it live in the studio. Now, that's not the only way to get audio. You could have brought audio right out of the Blu-ray player, but again, think about you're using those preamps to go from digital to analog, and you may not get a very good signal. So a real good way to get a good signal is to take it right out of the HDMI or SDI. So again, that's audio conversation. We don't do a lot of that here on the channel, so I am going to move on. I'm curious if you will have enough gain in an HD8 to not need a cloud lifter. Yeah, that's a great question. I haven't done a research, but they do. I think they would tell you what the gain is. So do I dare dive down this topic with you, Joe? Let me go to Blackmagic Design. Let's do this. Me and my laptop. Let's click on the HD8 and let's scroll down here. Let's see, audio. I'm not sure there's anything about the preamps on the main page. I'm just looking here. 16 channels of embedded audio, but that's coming out or through the MADI, but I don't see yet any gain information. It'll be in the specs. I'm just trying to cheat and go to the main page only because it got brought up. So basically, they have a new mic converter that you can bring in a number of channels of audio into this device. It only has 2 regular inputs, but it also has a MADI input, and you can carry up to 64 channels of audio through MADI. So you would actually bring that into a converter, 4 channels at a time. So you do the math, 64 divided by 4, that's how many converters you would need if you wanted to bring in that many channels. But somewhere here, and if you buy the ISO model, you can do some remote camera control and do cameras through cat cable. You can change out motherboards if you need to. They're swappable if one goes out. That's the power source. Here is the converter that you can see right there. You can get 4 microphones into it. 130 dB low distortion, extremely low noise, a minus 129. I'm not 131 dB. Man, I think that's adequate without needing a cloud lifter. Maybe it's not. Let's look at Rodecaster Pro here real quick. Oh, I don't want to go to B&H if I don't have to. Here we go. Rodecaster Pro from Rode. Minus 131 dBs of noise. 76 dB again. Yeah, I'm not sure that dynamic gain is the same as the gain stage. So I'm going to forego a um, final opinion on that until I do more research. But it's all about gain. So whatever the gain is in that preamp inside that device, that's what's going to depend if you're going to need a cloud lifter. Like when I had my Rodecaster Pro version 1, I needed a cloud lifter to really get all the audio out of this Shure SM7B. I never really got one until towards the very end, and then the new version of the Rodecaster Pro came out, and I'm so Rodecaster Pro directed. As far as my studio, I bought the new one. In fact, I have two Rodecaster Pro version 2s and a Rodecaster Pro version 1, because I'm going to have one at my desk in Studio B, and I'm going to have one for podcasting inside Studio B. So I'm going to have two Rodecaster Pro version 2s available at all times. One at my desk for all the live streaming, Zoom consults, training, all of that stuff, Zoom consults, Zoom meetings, and then I'm gonna have a separate one for anything that happens inside the studio as far as doing video recording for guests, me doing unboxings or product videos on a table, or using the green screen. It's all gonna be fed and run through a separate Rodecaster Pro. Even though it'll be next to my desk, I'll have one for live streaming and I'll have one for whoever I have as a guest inside the studio. So that just means that they can always be set up, and I'm not making changes for a live stream in the main one in the studio. And that's kind of way Studio B is gonna go. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do me and slideshow here. I'm gonna pause the conversation in the chat for just a few minutes. So this is a look at Studio B. So we're going to look at a video here in a minute, take you out in the garage. But Studio B, here it is without the lights overhead. So you can see that this is a one-car garage. So that's the stairway right here that goes up to my wife's office, and everything on this side of that door, on my side of the door, is inside the house, and everything on the other side of that stairway and that wall is in the garage. And that wall that's there right now and that black box, none of that exists. That's just one big single car garage. And now you can see the walls that I have to raise in order to get it ready. I got to build a green screen in front of the existing garage door. The existing garage door is going to stay. And this is what we talked about last week. And then this is the slide show, or this is the slide with me adding lights. And so literally on that desk inside Studio B, once I get it built, I'm going to have two Rodecaster Pros, one in the corner, like I have one in the corner right now. I think I can show you that through SkyCam. So let me bring SkyCam on. And let me go to view 1. And let me put SkyCam on the air here real quick. SkyCam on the air. So right here is my Rodecaster Pro. So if you look at, so right here in the corner of my desk, so my desk goes down the wall, cuts a corner and goes down this closet, basically. And then if I turn off SkyCam, you can see that that desk right there in the corner, closest to the bottom of the screen, and I don't have a way to draw on the screen right now, but there is a corner there, and that's where that same Rodecaster Pro is going to be. So everything in this studio is going to be reversed. So I'm looking down the right wall right now, and when I get in that studio, I'm going to be looking down the left wall. So I'm going to have to build a whole new desk. And if I do have a TV in the new studio, it's going to be on the top wall in that picture. And so what I want to do now is I want to take you guys to a video. I've got to change discs here and queue up a video here. So give me a second. I'm changing discs in my HybridDeck, and I'll get that video ready. And so we're going to cut, and I'm going to take you on a quick audio tour. I'll be on the screen, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you listen to the Keith that's giving the tour in the video, and then we'll come back and talk more about what's happening in the chat. So let me roll this Studio B tour, and here we go. Well, welcome back to the garage. This is the side of the garage that I am going to be doing the new studio. So you can see right there is our garage door from the house into the garage. And just a quick tour. There's a quick look at the entrance of our house, which is right there. You guys can see outside. So we're going to need a hallway in order to do this. So there's going to be a hallway going right here, and it's going to stop right here, and there'll be a door because this is going to be the line. So right there is the wall line. So the wall is going to start right like this, and that wall will then go all the way over there underneath the stairway. And you can see the line right here all the way up. Sorry, I'm using the Double Take app, the same guys who make Filmic Pro. So all the way up there, and that's going to tie in to that wall right there. So when you come to this side of the garage, you'll have a door right here. So basically right here, there's going to be a handle, and you'll be able to open it this way into the garage. We may have an upright refrigerator right here. Our refrigerator went out, so we're probably going to get rid of that and do a full-size refrigerator, which it's a big refrigerator, so it's going to come from the post probably over to right about here. And then that file cabinet will come up to the wall, and you can see where the wall is going to be. So you'll have a 6-inch wall right here. So basically, about that wide from that will be a plate. And then there's going to be another wall right about here that divides the garage from the hallway, because I'm going to have a big cabinet right here, and it's going to go to right about here. And then there's going to be a desk. And then as we come in this door, right? So as I come in this door, there's going to be another handle right about here to go into the other room. So you'll be able to walk into Studio B. And so now I would be in Studio B, so you can see how much space is in here and how tall the ceiling is. So those rails are going to come out to right here. And then I'll L-bracket in the garage door on both sides. This track will come out, and that'll all come down. That'll all come down. Of course, that light that I gave Shannon for her work table, which has been moved over there now under those lights. So that's going to come down after today's shoot and go over there for more light for her. But that rail will come out. And so then my new green screen wall. So this will be the corner of the back of my studio, and this will be sheetrock going all the way over there. So you can get an idea of the size of that space. So I'm going to set the stool where the cabinet's going to go. And that's the cabinet right there. And I have all of my extra equipment in here. You can see I have more stuff in the corner there, which is going to stay. But this cabinet right here is going to be moved, and that's going to be on the other side of this doorway. So imagine a doorway right here into this double-car garage. Actually, the doorway will be right here. So this double-car garage will have a wall right here as well, and then this will be giving us enough space to get 1, 2 cars. All of this stuff has to go away. We'll probably have that cabinet right there, still there. All of this other stuff is going to go up on high shelves, and a lot of this is going to the trash or getting put in the attic. And I have an attic up here we're going to insulate, because the insulation starts right about here. This is Shannon's upstairs office. It goes all the way over to this side of the garage, and then there's a wall right up there, and probably more like right where that seam is. And then that needs to be insulated above my new Studio B. So my cabinet's going to go right about there, and it'll stretch to right about here. And then you're going to have a short desk, and that'll be my battery station right about here. And then I can open the door, and there'll be a pony wall right here, kind of a hallway as you come in the new studio right here, and you can see that in the drawings, right? And then I'll have my desk going all the way around this corner, and then the green screen will start right about here and cover this whole corner. So it's not super big. You can see it's a little bit bigger than my current Studio A, but the idea is to be able to move everything back here and eventually use Studio A as probably a man cave again. I still may have some cameras, we'll see. It depends on what happens with Shannon's mom, but you can see that I'm gonna have a single car garage here, and it's 23 feet from this corner right there all the way to that wall, and in reality, that'll all be shelves underneath there, so we will still have some stuff here. In fact, the pony wall comes in right here, so we're gonna build, so this will be a wall right here going down to the floor. So on this side, I can build shelves across here, and we can put all the paint on the floor underneath because it needs to stay semi-warm, and then all of the all the toilet paper and all that stuff will go on shelves, and that'll be kind of in this hallway. It'll be like a wet hallway, and again, imagine a door right here that opens just like this towards the freezer, and then again a wall all the way down this line that ties into this wall right here. And then I have this outlet that I had made specifically for my studio garage, and that outlet up there, and then the outlet that this whole light strip is attached in. So that light strip is coming down, and I'm gonna be using that outlet power there, and that outlet power there. That's gonna be extra power that will go in this main wall. And then there's my circuit for power, and the power and the internet and everything, cables on the other side of that wall. So all of that extra power will be able to come up this wall through the attic, and I'm gonna be able to pull some more wires down into this wall. And then of course, as I make this pony wall out here, there'll be more power in it. I already have an outlet right there that will be used to power some of probably a TV on this wall. We'll see if we do the big TV there, but I already have power. And then this up top power will stay because I'm gonna have all of my upstairs lights for lighting my studio. All are gonna be on tracks, and I'm gonna have a couple outlets come out from that outlet in the wall through the ceiling. So we'll have to cut some of the sheetrock out, and to do that, as well as pulling the wires across, we'll see. I may have to cut sheetrock the whole way to pull more wires, we'll see. But a trench across there. So it's a big project. So the first thing I got to do is get my plans approved and go from there. Didn't know when that ended. I actually have more footage, but I wanted to address a couple questions here. Camille asked, is it get cold or hot out there? Yeah, the cool thing about that is my wife has a studio upstairs, her office upstairs. It's literally, you have a 3-car garage, right? And right in the middle of that 3-car garage upstairs is a gigantic bonus room. And that's what that stairway is. So let's just go back into this super source right here. Where is it? Slideshow, where are you? There it is. And let me fix this slide real quick. Let's do this one. So right about where my finger is pointing right here, all the way across is uninsulated upstairs in the attic of the garage. But from about here all the way down past where this picture goes, halfway to 2/3 of the way through the double car garage is the other side of Shannon's bonus room upstairs. And she has ductwork, literally. Part of the reason why we decided to move the studio from the other side of the garage is we want to be able to park 2 cars in there, and we figured we're never going to park a car in there as long as the studio's there. Originally, we were thinking that we could bring a car in when I wasn't using it, but I told her there's no way that's going to work. So up above the Studio B location that we talked about tonight, and I showed you a video of, which is as closest to the house It has two gigantic vents that go into Shannon's bonus room, and the heat cooks her out of there and the cold air cools her out of there, because it's really close to the main furnace. The furnace is literally up the stairway next to the stairway upstairs. So that duct gets most of the cold air in the house. So what we're going to do is I'm hiring an air conditioner company that installed my air conditioning system, my heat pump, and I'm going to have them come in, and we're going to do a tea damper that I can turn on when I'm in the studio and turn off when I'm out of the studio. So literally there'll be a thermostat that turns it on and off. So all the cold air and all the hot air can go upstairs if I want it to. But it will probably stay on most of the time. It's just for when, let's say I take 2 weeks of vacation and I don't need really any hot or cold air going in there. I may never do that because I have equipment in there. But the bottom line is it will be able to be heated and it will be able to have air conditioning. I do want the damper in there because if it gets too cold or too hot, I need a way of shutting it off on a thermostat. And so having a T valve or just an off and on valve gives me the ability to turn it on and off. I've done this before when I did my recording studio in the old house. We did exactly the same thing. We tapped into the ductwork in the house, and now we had enough to heat and cool my recording studio, because my recording studio was part of the house. We weren't heating and cooling the garage, but once we converted that garage into a control room and a studio, we were able to give it air conditioning and to give it cooling. And my furnace in my house was plenty, and the furnace in my current house is plenty. So hopefully that answers. Turn that off air. Sorry. Turn chat back on and chat off or on the air. So chat back on the air, and let me find that comment that Camille made. It's here somewhere. So Camille, the room is 23 foot long. Now the new studio isn't going to be, because I'm taking about 6 feet of that. Well, the hallway needs to be 4 feet and then 3 more feet. So I'm taking 7 to 7.5 of that, depending on where I decide to make a hallway and make that outside storage. So my storage cabinet and a small desk is going to go in there. And I'm going to put tape on the floor to test all this before I build any wall. And so I'm planning on next week to actually get some masking tape and mask off where I think the lines are going to go. We're going to take my chair in there. I'm literally going to see if I have enough space so I know exactly where I need to put that wall. And if I don't feel like I have enough space, then I'll have to find a different place to store my cabinet, and I'll have to find a different place to charge batteries. But the goal is to have a battery charging station in that garage hallway, as well as my cabinet, because I don't get into any of that stuff when I'm traveling, but I also want it to stay cold and warm. And that part of that hallway is also going to stay cool and warm, because the air that I bring into the studio is going to bleed through a vent that's at the above the door. And so it'll stay warm in there, so I can put electronics and things in that cabinet. And I can't do that normally right now because it's in the garage and it does get cold and it does get cool in there. So right now I have 23 by 11.6 to work with. I'm going to lose some of that 23 for a hallway and a desk outside the studio. So right now I'm like 11 by 10. And so I'm definitely going to have more space. It's going to be wider in the new studio. So instead of about 10 foot 4 inches this way, I'm going to have 11, almost 12 feet this way. So I'm going to be a little wider, and I'm definitely going to be about 3 to 5 feet longer that way, because that wall literally is not far from me. So hopefully that answers your question. So let me get down here and see if I can catch up. Good to see you, Hank. Thanks for dropping in. I didn't get to say hi to you earlier. Thank you, Camille, for saying hit the like button. I appreciate that. Yes, I did say VCR. I knew you would say something, Joe. That's why I changed it to DVD and Blu-ray. Literally, I anticipated that comment. Good to see you, Tony. Thanks for stopping by. We did a video of Studio B for you. So if you watch this later, hopefully you'll get a chance to see that we did that. Let's see here. So DJ Ware says he's using the little brother to Camille's interface, and he bypasses the preamps, and he's using a AVED MA5 500 series preamp. So good stuff. I do have moving blankets in here for soundproofing. In the new studio, I'm building sound panels. I always knew that this studio was temporary. I never thought I would be in it this long. It was just a bedroom we took over during the epidemic, and I needed a place to move in. I also needed a place to do Shannon's podcast. So we've already kind of had this garage remodel in the back of our minds. Just things changed in 2019 and 2020 and 21. So we kind of put that whole project on hold, plus the sickness in the family, and now Shannon's mom and what she's going through with cancer treatments. We don't know if we're going to have to move her in or not, but that's motivating Studio B remodel, because this room may be a guest room. It may end up being a place that mom has to come and stay. And she literally lives next door. But to keep an eye on her, it'd be nicer to have her in the house. Right now, she's doing great, and she's had about 12 cancer treatments. She's got 6 weeks of them, so we're about 2 1/3 week into her treatments. So no major pain yet. So she is a trooper and doing really, really well. And that's the comment that you were talking about it getting cold in the winter, and that will be solved with what we're going to do, warm in the summers. Yeah, I can't wait to see the walls go up as well. And what is the plan for acoustic treatment? Well, that's a great question. And I appreciate you asking that. So I have built sound panels before. There's 3 types of sound panels that I've built. I build some for mid frequencies. What those panels do, actually 4 panels, 4 types of panels. That's just absorbing reflections off of the walls, which you'll see in churches, you'll see in venues. You'll even see hotels and stuff do treatments on walls. Now they have boards, like fiber boards, that you can put on walls with like a vinyl fabric with like wallpaper over top of it. Sometimes it almost looks like carpet. Sometimes it almost looks like burlap. But again, that cuts down on the reflections. And what that means is that if I threw something against this wall like a rubber ball, it's going to bounce off. What that's designed to do is dissipate part of that. Then you can go thicker panels that will deal with low frequencies. For instance, if a truck goes by, that vibration can come into the garage, because we're going from asphalt to sidewalk to concrete. All the way into the garage is concrete. So a lot of that vibration can come through. So in order to stop those low frequencies coming through walls, you need thicker panels. And then they have what they call bass traps. Bass traps usually stand in the corners, a little bit away from the corner of a room. What a lot of people don't realize, that bass frequencies have a tendency to build up in corners. So if you have like a subwoofer in your studio, if you get up and walk into a corner, you're going to hear more bass in the corner unless you have what they call a bass trap. And so you can make them. I've made them before. I've used the real thick sound panels, like 2x4. I'll put one hanging from the ceiling about 1 foot to 2 feet away from the corner. And then I'll have one standing up on the floor about 1 foot or 2 from the corner. And then what I'll do is I'll take a big rubber cone, and you can do like a cone like they use for making concrete posts. You can take one of those and drill different size holes in it. And then you can fill it up with like foam rubber, like little chunks of foam rubber, if you wanted to. I like to just take like mattress stuffing, like you would make a thin mattress out of. You go to like the craft store and you buy it. And then what I like to do is cut it into strips, and then I shove it down in those cones, or I wire them together. So you can wire the bottom third, the middle of it, and the top, and then I'll hang that suspended in the corner. So you have a sound panel like this, the corner back here, and then that rubber thing hangs in the middle. And what that does is that as the bass frequency goes through that sound panel and tries to build up in the corner, it can't, because there's this rubber mat hanging there stopping it from being able to do its little hurricane thing it does in the corners. And that's very much like a bass trap is created. You can see, if you ever seen them, they make them like in a triangle. You set it in the corner, and inside that is a rubber cone. A lot of times it is like different size holes in it. And then inside of that usually is another trap. And what that means is that bass gets in there and it gets trapped. So that's a panel. And then you have treatments that are designed to take the sound that hits it and spread it out. If you've ever seen those, let me see if I can find some sound treatment here real quick. I'm just typing this in real quick to see if I can grab a quick image and pop it up on the screen. And there we go. So let's do this, me and my laptop. So these little panels back here, you can see there's like strips of wood, especially these right here. Those are designed to actually, when sound hits them, all the wood and everything is shaped differently in there. And what that means is that no reflections can bounce straight in and straight back out again. It literally is designed to take all the sound that hits it and let it get trapped in there and spread out, so it doesn't bounce right back at you. That's great for right above your mixing station. Some studios, you'll see them above your head. A lot of mastering studios, you're gonna see them behind you, so you don't want the sound to come to your ears stereo, and then also have weird reflections bouncing off the back wall because it confuses your ear. Again, so there's all kinds of different treatments. And you can see them in this picture. You have ceiling treatments, you have sidewall treatments for reflections, you have these big panels, you have these panels. So this is like an audiophile's room, and it's designed to make sure that the audio coming from the speakers is just about perfect in that room. So lots of ways to treat that. I will have all 4 type panels in my new studio. It's going to be a work over time, but I do plan on having that type of treatment in my new Studio B, because I will be doing some podcasting in there for clients. That's the goal. So cool. Let's look at my phone to see if there's any other comments or questions. So any other questions that you guys have? Let's talk about NAB 2023. And if I see any other questions pop in, I will try to answer them. So before I do that, I wanted to give you guys an update. Let me go back to me and my laptop. I have ordered our first 1/6 scale character for my grandson Dominic and I. This isn't going to be on this channel, but we're getting ready to do our first unboxing. This Miles Morales, this is a Hot Toys 1/6 scale figure. I don't know why. There we go. So this figure is in the mail. It was shipped yesterday. It should be here on the 13th. So 2 days from now. And then Dominic and I are going to unbox this. This is one of the things that I will be doing in Studio B. So if you would be interested in that channel, it's going to be Dominic's YouTube channel. I'm going to be helping him, so we'll do it together. But I'm really excited about getting our first character. It was about $330 for a Hot Toys 1/6 scale figure. And Miles Morales is the figure that he liked. That's one of his favorite characters. So we're splitting the cost. I get to pick the next one. So we're talking ideas, And we're going to actually do unboxing. And the other thing I was going to say tonight, which we are going to talk about on the channel. I'm shopping right now. Let's see, what am I doing? Let's see. I promise we'll be at B&H here, but it's a couple things I wanted to talk about real quick. So I'm also going to be adding, I'm waiting for this to populate here. And I really just want the picture on the screen. I'll do my best here. So me and my laptop. I'm also going to be getting a light box. So he's going to be unboxing all of these figures. We have some other things that we're going to be doing. So I am going to do some conversations here on this channel about these boxes. And there's all kinds of different types of them. They're designed specifically for product photography, but we're going to be using it for product videography. So we're literally going to have one of these before we unbox this character. So it may take us another week before we get to unbox Miles Morales, but that's also going to be happening in the future on the channel. So if you have any interest in high key photography or videography, I have done that high key photography before using the white paper that I have in my studio. I've done video before, green screen video there before, but I want a box to do this type of unboxing for Dominic's channel. And I'm going to be helping him with his parents build his channel. He's only 13 years old right now. So I definitely will be building it with his parents. And then eventually when he's old enough, it's going to be his channel and he's going to continue on doing these type of unboxings. So that I just wanted to touch base. And also there's a, in the new Rode wireless kit that came out last week. Let's see, products. We talked about it briefly on the air last week. Let me bring this up here again, me and my laptop. This actually, I didn't know, but this does for sure have a microphone on the transmitter and the receiver. So you could have it on your phone and be interviewing someone, and the receiver also is a transmitter. So it has audio microphone on it, plus the wireless microphone. And they also have a new type of automatic AI intelligent gain built into this. So it's right here, intelligent gain assist technology, automatically controls audio levels for perfect clear sound. And there's a couple different options that you have inside, but this is designed specifically to make it simple for people to use their smartphone device to do interviews. So now you have a mic on you when you're the camera operator, and you have a mic on the other person. So the reason I'm bringing this up, this would be a perfect device for anybody that's going to NAB. I'm not going to NAB. And if you don't know anything about NAB, then we'll touch base on that just here for a second. But NAB is a gigantic conference. It's been going on for 100 years. I don't know how that's even possible, but it's an event that a lot of us pay attention to that are in this realm of TV, television, audio, video production, all of that and more. And NAB is starting this week on the 15th. I think the dates are on here somewhere. I can't remember what page it's on. But at NAB, a lot of manufacturers make, they do releases. They surprise us with new products. And a lot of people right now are going to be getting ready to go there. They're going to be doing videos on their channel. All next week, we're going to be having hundreds upon hundreds of videos available out there about the NAB event. Blackmagic Design is going to be there. They've already released 2 product lines prior to this event, the new television studio HD8, HD Plus. Actually, they released 2 cameras, the 4K G2, as well as the new 6K camera. The new 6K camera and the 4K have new features in them. So they updated the 4K and they came out with a new 6K studio camera. They also came out with the new video hubs, which I talked about last week. So now you have updated video hubs, and there's a lot of speculation about what new products are going to be coming out at NAB. So before we get off the air tonight, I wanted to have a little bit of time to chat with you about my predictions. So I said a number of weeks back when we were looking at the television Studio HD8 that I would be a player if they made a 16 channel model. Now, am I predicting that they're going to announce this at NAB? No. I wish they would. My gut instinct says I don't think they're going to announce a 16 channel television studio video hub at NAB. In fact, I'm not quite sure Blackmagic Design will announce anything else, though they have been known to save one thing for day one at NAB, because then you could walk up their display and see it and touch it. And obviously that creates synergy and momentum. But in reality, Blackmagic likes to preempt these big events with product releases so that they can demo them there, and that helps create the buzz. Everybody wants to go touch the HD8, the HD Plus. They want to see the video hub. So they all run to those booths. So Blackmagic Design has a tendency to make their announcements earlier. They got 2 cameras to show off there. They have the 3 video hubs, and they've updated their firmware. They continue to do updates and do changes, even making updates to products. But I don't know that they're going to announce anything there. But if I was to make a prediction about Blackmagic Design making some announcements there, I think it would be either a HD816 or possibly updates to some of their monitors, different things that are a little bit antiquated now, and they need to be updated to modern specs. But my hope is, right, that at some point in the very near future, they're going to introduce a HD16 channel television studio. If that's even possible, it's going to be huge, I think. Maybe they can do it by banking over, but you're going to have all of the inputs and the outputs on the back of it. And who knows, they might even add more HDMIs. We'll see. But that's my gut instinct. They may make some updates to the HyperDeck Studio HD Plus because they've already made some firmware updates to the shuttle and the more expensive HyperDecks, so that you can actually do some transfer of files through the network even more and communicate back and forth with those devices. So it would be cool to see them make some HyperDeck updates. And obviously, I would be definitely investing in something that's reasonably priced if they do an update. My shuttle is now, I think, almost a year old. The HyperDeck shuttle, which is the teleprompter / playback device, recording device. It does not have key and fill. I also purchased before that the new HyperDeck Studio HD Plus. They make a 4K version of that. Then they also make an 8K version of that. And then they make the versions that have multiple discs. So you have cartridge discs that you can put in there and little SSDs that you can put in those devices. But they made updates. They added a headphone. They added a remote switch on the front. They added speaker and inside it so you could hear it through the tiny speaker. And they also give you the ability to hear through headphones, which is hugely important, in my opinion, on the HyperDeck. And then again, they added some time code to those devices as well, which was well needed, so they could be all time code synced together. So, and they also added HDMI in and HDMI out. So for those who want to come directly from a camera right into the back of a HyperDeck to record, then they added that as well. And if you want to record 4K from your camera, then you're going to have to get a HyperDeck that can record HDMI 4K. So I already updated, so I think they're going to maybe do some tweaking to HyperDecks, but we will see what happens on the 15th at NAB. Prediction number 2. Are you ready? I also think that we're going to see some landmark products at NAB this year that are going to capture some attention from outside of Blackmagic Design. I really think the timing is right for someone else besides YOLO Box and some of the other people out there. I think the timing is right for some landmark type products to come out at NAB. I don't know what they are, if they've already been announced. But for instance, when the Rodecaster Pro came out, that was huge. You've already seen Rode come out with a more simple wireless mic kit where you can actually record yourself and whoever you have the microphone on. So I think there's going to be some landmark announcements that we're going to be talking about in the weeks to come from NAB 2023. Now, that's just talking mainly about Blackmagic Design and some other manufacturers. I am watching what other video YouTubers are talking about. They're talking about cameras, obviously, all the time, like David does from Australia. But I don't talk much about cameras. I talk mostly about live streaming equipment or the lighting and stuff around that. So let me know what your thoughts are on what you think Blackmagic Design may announce in the chat. And I want to talk about your ideas as well right now. So take a minute and tell me if you have a prediction in the chat. Let's go like this. Chat on the air. Will I do a video on the sound panels? Absolutely. Jay, when I get ready to build these sound panels like I built them before, I used to have, well, that's one of them right there. This is the only sound panel that I still have in the studio. But you can see I made these. These have been around for a long time. These were behind my speakers inside my recording studio, mainly just to provide a little bit of absorbing right behind the speakers. So in the corners, I also had a bass trap in the corners, but I kept one of these panels to hide the wires. And you can see this is actually the insulation that I can buy locally. And instead of it being like the pink insulation, it's actually got like a brown sugar coating. You can't eat it. I've never put my tongue on it, have no plan on it, but that's what they use to hold the fibers together. So it's still fiberglass, but again, they use the brown sugar type to stick it together. And so that is just slid in here. And then I have burlap on it. So it's just a frame. And if you know how to make a picture frame, then you can make sound panels. And then I'll make these 2 layers thick. And then I can use the same design for base panels. But the best way to make a base panel is to have a couple layers in it, even some pegboard where you drill out some of the holes and make them even bigger, some of them smaller and larger than that, and then you put the wrap behind it. So we will definitely do a video on how to make these when we get ready to do that in the new studio. And again, I hang that just mainly to hide that outlet on the wall. And that's used to be where my speakers were in my man cave. So I had a JBL speaker there on a stand and a JBL speaker on the other side of the TV. And then my subwoofer was in that corner. And now my subwoofer is right here next to my desk and my JBL speakers are right there. And if I turn my Skycam on, there are my JBLs. So I have 2 JBLs. These are studio grade monitors. They're designed specifically for recording studios. They're not cheap, and they make different sizes. These are 6-inch speakers. They make an 8-inch version, and then they make the subwoofers in different sizes as well. And they're all integrated. So they communicate with each other. You can shoot the room. I have a microphone right here. Actually, it fell down, but I have a little microphone that's designed to listen to the room and adjust for that. So I can set it right back behind where I'm mixing. You usually put it right about where your ears would come together behind your head. And that's kind of the stereo spot. You get out of your chair, you leave the room, leave the chair here, but you want to pretend that that microphone is you. So then you push a little button on the speakers and it actually EQs for this room. So you would do that before treatment, and then you could do that after treatment. But either way, it takes out the really bad frequencies. So today, or this weekend, when I was at, off the air, when I was at church doing the streaming training, because I'm working with their 8K system, and I was learning how to mix the live service, even though I did not end up doing Easter. things worked out where I didn't have to. I've been sitting up there every week, learning and watching and learning how to operate that equipment for them. And the sound tech, Matt, who I've had on my live stream before, and I'll put a link to that conversation with Matt below. He showed me a new plugin that he has in his main console that actually is an artificial intelligent AI EQ. You can set the curves, but what it does is it identifies all the bad frequencies and it brings those frequencies down, and it's all automated. So he uses it on cymbals, he uses it on guitar. Sounds that he really has trouble controlling in the room. He's using this new plugin on those. So what he does is he makes an auxiliary bank of all the things he wants to run through that plugin, so he doesn't have a plugin on every channel when he's trying to mix live, because that creates latency. So he runs it through a bus, was what they call it. I don't know why they call it a bus, because you get all those channels on it and put one driver on that, which is the plugin. And I can't remember the name of it. I'll find out what the name of it is, and I'll bring that to the live stream. But pretty incredible that they have plugins now that you can purchase that will actually help you deal with bad frequencies. It could be used in a room as well. So that's pretty powerful, because those frequencies seem to be the ones that actually cause you the most problems in the room. They also are notorious. Some of those frequencies are notorious for weird feedback and feedback loops and all of that. So if you can control those, especially in a live venue, it's very, very important and powerful. So yeah, everybody's talking about Blackmagic Design potentially. What am I doing? Off chat, turn Skycam off, chat on. Try that again. Chat on the air. Being persnickety. Blackmagic Design hopefully will come out with a replay device. There's someone else that I think predicted that. I can't remember who it was this week. I was listening to that, Jay. But maybe they could take a device like the HyperDeck Shuttle and make it a replay device. There's a couple little things they have to do that. But you can't really use HyperDecks very easily for replay devices, because the change from play mode to record mode, it takes anywhere from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. So like if I was to change right now from playing a video on my HyperDeck to recording, you have to push the record button. That switches it from play mode to record mode. And then you got to hit record again to get it to record. So it's almost like you're having to wake up the chip that's for recording and put the other chip to sleep. So they'll have to change that inside that device. So they're definitely not going to be able to just turn on that type ability inside a HyperDeck. They're going to actually have to keep both of those things alive all the time. And who knows, they may have to put an M2 card inside a HyperDeck for replay, so you can record to it anytime anything's going through. You can turn that on and off so that you could then cue back a clip instantaneously, and it's going to have to be super, super fast. And the medium that you can plug into these devices now are fast. So the SD cards are fast and getting faster, as well as drives like, I'm not recording tonight, so drives like these are getting faster and faster. In fact, I have some of these that are actually 1,050 megabytes per second, and I have one of these that's 100 or 1,500 megabytes a second. So they can actually go quite fast. So any other comments? Decimators are some converters, I think, right, Jay? Correct me if I'm right. And so some different models of those. Blackmagic Design can constantly add to its converters. They have some things missing in their fiber optics division. So those that are trying to convert from SDI to fiber that use Blackmagic Design equipment would be excited about that as well. And so hopefully we will see some more devices that are designed to help us do converting. That would be very, very helpful going forward. So again, I hope that you guys will stay with me and stay a part of this live stream. Again, we're going to, as soon as we possibly can, get going on Studio B. I wanted to just address that. Only reason we haven't started is we're really trying to wait and see what happens with Shannon's mom. She's in the middle of these treatments, so that could either accelerate our program or not. And what that means is that if we don't have to make a move there, then this studio is available to me. So there's no rush. So I can take my time and really do the designs and things correctly in Studio B. But if all the things change and I need this space, then I may be out there live streaming before the walls have sheetrock. We'll see. So I also can move back in the bedroom and live stream from there. But I would like to make sure that I'm making the right decisions, as well as I've gone back to some work stuff again this spring. So there's more money coming in that's going to pay for this remodel, because it's going to cost Shannon and I thousands of dollars to do it. It's not like someone's writing us a check to pay for Studio B. And I'm calling it Studio B because there still may be a Studio A here and a Studio B there. And most of you know I have 3 Rodecaster Pros, the old 1 and 2 new 2s, as well as 2 extreme ISOs. And there's a method to my madness. I have 2 extreme ISOs combined in this studio, but one of those may be in Studio B and another one in Studio A. And I may be then moving from A to B in the middle of my live streams, which would be fun. I'd love to walk out there and start at a table and show you guys how to build sound panels, and then be able to walk back in here and be able to close the live stream right here at the desk. So there's lots of pluses to Studio B. Plus, I want to do some things with Ratso. And if you don't know who Ratso is, I'm a ventriloquist, and I brought Ratso in the post show when I was doing the post show. I haven't been doing it now because I've been so busy with clients and traveling. I have another trip coming up to Dallas on the week of the 24th. I probably will not be live that week. We'll see. And if I am live, it will be from Dallas, Oregon, because I'll either drive up late on Tuesday night after a live stream, or I will drive up super early Tuesday morning and do my live stream right from the hotel. We'll see. So lots of things coming up. I will bring Miles Morales in the box to next week's Tuesday live. So I'm not going to unbox it, but that box will be here. I hope to have Dominic join me for a few minutes next Tuesday night. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm really excited about helping him build a YouTube channel and teaching him how to live stream. And he'll start that right here in my studio. And he'll be doing videos first, and then sometime this springtime, we're going to do a couple lives together. And then I'm going to have him produce his own live, and I will be his executive producer. And we'll just see how that goes. That's going to be a lot of fun. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel that Dominic's going to start, go to my website. Let me bring that up here on the screen. Go to my website. Don't subscribe on the homepage. Come up here to contact us. Fill out this form that pops up, and in the notes, put a message there saying, I would like to receive an email invite to Dominic's channel. And then you can be there from the very beginning. You could be the first subscriber if that's a thing that you think would be really cool. That's going to be totally focused on collecting and superhero figures and other things like that, because he and I have some common ground there. So it won't have anything to do much about live stream tech, even though occasionally Dominic will be talking about what he uses and doing some behind the scene videos, from the light box to the microphone he's using. So he'll be doing that for his channel, and that will be fun. So, and then when we have him on my channel, we will be talking about more of the technical stuff that he has to deal with in the studio. And I'm hoping to have him in Studio B with me before the end of this summer. We'll see if we can get Studio B up and running by the fall, but that's kind of our goal right now. And we have lots and lots to do to make that happen. So, okay. Still gets dark when I do that. Yeah, Decimator has converters and a multi-viewer. Yeah, I did this once, Jay, if you remember. I used my streaming bridge and I was able to leave the studio and go to the garage. That was the green screen video. I think you were here for that. But again, I'll put a link to that in the channel, the link to the last walkthrough I did in the garage. But I literally got up from here and went into the garage, and I was streaming from there on my ATEM Mini, and the ATEM Mini is right there on the shelf on display. I'm not using it right now. But that ATEM Mini was out there with camera 3, which is my overhead camera, not using it tonight. And I was able to use that and a pod mic, and I keep those right here in the studio. So I have 2 of these in the studio all the time because when my wife does her podcast, they're right here. They're already set up. All I have to do is plug in mics. These are made by Rode. They sound amazing for a $100 microphone. They even have a little foam windscreen built into it, so it cuts down on the plosives, the P's, the T's, and then you can use the Rodecaster Pro to cut out the sibilants, which is the S's, and I have that on my voice right now, so literally, as I talk on this microphone, I have that set in my Rodecaster Pro, so it should be cutting down some of those really aggressive S's from my voice. So I keep these here. And again, I have a Rodecaster Pro version 2 up there. I even bought a cover for it. So I now have 2 of these covers. I did an unboxing of this Rodecaster Pro 2 cover on my channel. I have 2 of these now. This one covers this Rodecaster Pro. And then I bought another one to cover the one up there. I have not unboxed it yet. So it is in the garage. I've been busy. Drawing plans for Studio B, and I'm excited about what the potential of Studio B is. Trying to clean up. And so one of the things, we'll close tonight. This is one of my electronic switches. So you plug into one of these 2 outlets. This plugs into the power. And then I use this switch, this one right here. You can see the back is off of it. This one failed today. So I had to hardwire 3 things today, pull this out, plug 2 monitors, that confidence monitor and the confidence monitor behind me. All those had to be plugged in just minutes before I went live. So I was really crazy. What happened is that I had a case teetering up here. I went to Yakima, did some shooting for one of my clients, and I didn't push my case all the way up, and it literally fell down, landed on these, and didn't break anything on my desk, but it did smash this one. It's still working, but I have it all taped up. So I need to go to Home Depot and buy another set of these. It's like 20 bucks, and then you get 3 of these and 1 switch, but it worked fine when I tested it after the crash, but then today I came in the studio and not a single one of the 3 of these, there's a 1, 2, and 3, and they're all numbered. Not a single one of these would come on, and there's no built-in button on them, which is a negative. The brand of these is, what are these? I don't think there is a brand on here. Probably some generic brand. It's a YLT-40-3C, but that doesn't mean that has anything to do with the brand. So there's lots of things that go into a live stream. There's lots of responsibility if you're going to do it and try to have an ATEM Extreme using mix effects on an iPad, using a Skycam through OBS, being able to use your Stream Deck to run your lights and turn them on and off, all of those things. And that's what we talk about here in the channel. So if there's one of those topics that you'd like me to cover in the weeks to come, like going into OBS and setting it up, or going into Companion and setting up Companion for the Stream Deck, let me know and I'll cover that. Sound panels will be one of the things that I will cover because Jay asked. Today we did a video of the garage and the new location for Studio B because Tony from Quick Tech Solutions suggested that last week. So I do want to respond to your requests. So with that, let's say goodnight. And Jay, thank you very much for helping me say goodnight tonight. Thank you guys for joining me. Again, next week, hopefully Dominic will be here. We have some other things we're going to talk about. We'll do an update about what was a surprise from the big event, NAB 2023, which starts on the 15th. And it'll still be going, I think, by the time we do next week's live stream. But I hope you'll join me for that live stream right here on Life Journey Production Studios. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed and you're watching this live or after it was live, please consider subscribing to the channel and check out the videos here. I did release video 5 in my Stream Deck Plus series about the Sideshow FX plugin for Premiere Pro. They make one for DaVinci Resolve. They make one for Lightroom. They make one for After Effects. They make a lot of plugins that you can use with your Stream Deck Plus using the dials, using the touch LCD screen, and using the buttons. So if you don't know anything about the Stream Deck Plus, check it out. I did a whole series here on the channel, and now there are 5 videos specifically training on the Stream Deck Plus, and the last one released this week. Special thanks for Tony. Found some typos, and I was able to update it. So the new video has been live since late Tuesday, I believe, last week. And thank you, Tony, for catching my typos. So that's it. Thank you. Have a good night. I am Keith, and we will see you in the next video right here live, Tuesday at 4. Okay, well, welcome back to Studio B. This is my garage. We'll give you a panoramic here. There's the door into the house, and we're going to pan around here. And then that is the 2-car garage where I was going to do the studio. And the wall was still going to go right here. It's still going to go there, but this is going to be Studio B side. And you can see this is the single-car garage side. And that's going to be Studio B. And again, the wall goes right there. So it's about 11.5 feet across, 23 feet down this line to that stairway wall. And that's the stairway inside the house that goes up to Shannon's office. And Shannon's office is right above me. So in the